hours before the game yesterday, we put a story up online with the ex-referee Steve Conroy. He was saying he fears that a VAR decision could actually decide not just the top of the Scottish Premiership, but also at the bottom, because I think 24 hours earlier, we had an incident with Ross County where St Mirren should have had a penalty and didn't. How worried are you about the overall VAR thing? Do you think Lundstram was a penalty? And what about the Mayo one?
Is that
there's a lot in that question, Gavin. Listen, but I'm not an advocate of VAR. I don't like it. I've said that right from the start. I think I've been proven right that I think it's bad for the game. But ultimately, in terms of one of these decisions having a major bearing on the title or relegation, it could have, and I'm worried about that. But it probably won't be VAR that does that. It'll be the incompetence of the referees, either the referees on the pitch or the referees at Clydesdale House. I mean, listen, we don't know what a handball is anymore. None of us know. I mean, you're asking why the double standards. I mean, that's the $1 million question. I mean, who knows? Because one week an incident is a handball, the following week the same incident isn't a handball. They don't know, we don't know, so you're guessing now every week. I mean, the Lundstram one last night, when I first saw it, I immediately thought, he's put his arm out, it's a penalty. But when you actually watch it again, slow it down, which the VAR officials can do, obviously, his arm is tight in his body. Yeah. I mean, he's jumping the way you would want your defender to jump and try and block across. I mean, his arm only extends once the ball blasts off his arm. So I think that VAR should have intervened there and asked the referee to go and have a look. And as you say, the Mayo one late on, probably kind of went a wee bit unnoticed at the time. But again, when you look at it, his arm clearly comes out, and kind of affects the cross. So we've seen so many of them given this season. You're right, the Ross County one the night before is a clear penalty. How Greg Aitken and VAR can sit and look at that multiple times and see that his arm's in an unnatural position and it touches the ball, I genuinely don't know. But that's where we are at the moment with referees and VAR. I was at the Hearts Hibs game last night, a ridiculous penalty decision that Kevin Clancy gives, a really soft award. VAR does its job by effectively saying, look, we believe you've made a clear and obvious error, you should come over and have a look. And lo and behold, Kevin Clancy has a look at it and still thinks it's a penalty, even though the guys have asked him. Now, we said at the start of the season when referees were constantly changing their mind after having a second look, it would be nice occasionally if they actually just stuck by had the courage of their convictions and stuck by their decision. But that's only the case if they're getting it right. And that's where I come back to the incompetence. Mm-hmm. There's now this trend which seems from the turn of the year. There's this new trend among refs that when we go to the monitor, I'm not going to change my decision just because you've told me to. I'm going to stick by it because I'll get a bit more credit for that. Clancy's done that last night. It's clearly the wrong decision. I mean, anybody looking at that can see that's never a penalty kick.
It's actually outrageous, isn't it, when you watch it? It's just how...
So that's what I mean. So even with VAR, even with the second look, we're still getting decisions wrong. Yeah. So that just then boils down to the ineptitude of the referees and the guys that are getting in place. And that is a worry. As I say, I don't like VAR. I'm not a fan. But I'm worried that bad decisions, almost kind of supplemented by VAR, are going to have a major impact between now and May and really going to cost a team.